Imagine getting the biggest call of your career. You're invited to play with two members of one of the greatest rock bands in history. The songs belong to a drummer many fans consider untouchable. Most musicians would think the safest choice is simple: copy every note exactly. But Anika Nilles made a different decision. She admired Neil Peart deeply. She studied his parts, respected his legacy, and understood what his music meant to Rush fans. Yet she also believed she could never become another Neil Peart, and she didn't want to. At first, that sounds risky. After all, how do you step behind the drum kit of someone whose playing defined songs like Tom Sawyer? Surprisingly, Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson weren't looking for a clone. Geddy later explained that putting anyone in Neil Peart's position was incredibly difficult because that drummer would always be compared to the man. Instead of finding someone to imitate Neil perfectly, they wanted a musician who understood the music while bringing honest personality to it. That philosophy became the foundation of Rush's 50-something tour. And nowhere was the challenge greater than preparing Tom Sawyer, the band's signature song and one that even Anika admitted made her nervous. For almost any drummer, playing Tom Sawyer is intimidating. Neil Peart's performance isn't just fast or technically difficult. Every fill, every cymbal accent, and every dynamic change serves the song. Over the years, countless drummers have uploaded cover versions online, trying to reproduce every detail as accurately as possible. Anika Nilles could have done the same. Instead, she spent her preparation learning why Neil played those parts, not simply memorizing where every drum hit landed. Her goal was to preserve the spirit and musical intent of the performance while remaining true to her own style. When rehearsals for the 50-something tour began, Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson weren't asking for a perfect imitation. They already knew no one could replace Neil Peart. What they wanted was someone who could honor his legacy without pretending to be him. That approach immediately stood out. Rather than forcing Neil's exact feel onto every note, Anika focused on locking in with Geddy's bass lines and Alex's guitar work. She respected the original arrangements while allowing the music to breathe naturally. It wasn't about changing Rush's classics. It was about performing them honestly. Then came the rehearsal of Tom Sawyer. Everyone knew this would be the ultimate test. If Anika could earn Geddy and Alex's confidence on that song, she could earn it on the entire tour. As rehearsal continued, one thing became clear. Anika Nilles wasn't trying to fill Neil Peart's shoes. She was trying to play Rush's music with the same level of dedication and musical intelligence that Neil himself valued. That made all the difference. Geddy Lee has explained that Anika impressed him because she brought confidence without ego. She came prepared, knew the material inside and out, and never treated the opportunity as a chance to show off. Instead, she focused on serving the songs. During rehearsals, Tom Sawyer became the perfect example of that mindset. Rather than copying every tiny detail from Neil's live performances over the decades, Anika concentrated on delivering the groove, energy, and precision that made the song unforgettable. She understood that Rush's music has always been about three musicians listening and reacting to one another, not simply reproducing notes like a machine. That approach earned the trust of both Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson. Fans who attended the 50-something tour noticed the same thing. While Anika's touch and feel were naturally different from Neil's, the heart of the music remained intact. Instead of feeling like an imitation, the performances felt alive and respectful. Perhaps that's exactly what Neil Peart would have wanted. Throughout his career, Neil encouraged musicians to develop their own voice rather than becoming copies of their heroes. Ironically, the best way to honor his legacy wasn't by pretending to be him. It was by embracing the originality he valued so deeply. As the tour moved from rehearsal to the stage, something unexpected happened. Many longtime Rush fans arrived wondering how anyone could possibly perform Neil Peart's parts. Some admitted they were skeptical before the first note was even played. After all, Neil wasn't just Rush's drummer. He was 1/3 of the band's identity. But song after song, those doubts began to disappear. When Tom Sawyer started, the audience immediately recognized the familiar opening. Anika delivered the complex rhythms with precision and confidence, yet she never tried to imitate Neil's body language or stage presence. She wasn't acting like Neil Peart. She was honoring his music while remaining unmistakably herself. That authenticity resonated with fans. Instead of comparing every drum fill to the original, many audience members focused on something else: the chemistry between Geddy Lee, Alex Lifeson, and Anika. The performances felt energetic, natural, and full of mutual respect. It was clear that the three musicians were listening to each other in real time, the same spirit that had always defined Rush. Geddy and Alex seemed visibly comfortable on stage. Their smiles, spontaneous interactions, and relaxed performances showed they trusted the drummer beside them. That trust couldn't be created through imitation alone. It came from musicianship, preparation, and genuine collaboration. The lesson was becoming impossible to ignore. By refusing to become a copy of Neil Peart, Anika Nilles had actually paid him the greatest tribute. She preserved the integrity of the music while proving that authenticity is more powerful than imitation. One of the greatest misconceptions about Neil Peart is that he wanted other drummers to play exactly like him. The truth is almost the opposite. Throughout his career, Neil spoke about the importance of constant learning. He studied jazz legends like Buddy Rich, trained with master teacher Freddie Gruber later in his career, and continually refined his technique instead of relying on old habits. His philosophy was simple: keep growing, keep exploring, and never stop evolving. That mindset helps explain why Anika Nilles' approach felt so appropriate. She didn't ignore Neil's influence. In fact, she has openly acknowledged her admiration for him and the enormous impact he had on modern drumming. But admiration didn't become imitation. She respected the music enough to bring her own creativity and musical instincts to every performance. Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson recognized that immediately. Rather than asking Anika to recreate the past, they embraced the idea that Rush's music could continue to be celebrated with honesty and integrity. Their performances weren't presented as a Rush reunion or an attempt to replace Neil. Instead, they were a celebration of the songs, the friendship, and the legacy the three bandmates built together over nearly 5 decades. That perspective also explains why so many fans eventually embraced Anika's role. They weren't watching someone trying to become the next Neil Peart. They were watching a world-class drummer paying tribute to a musical hero in the most sincere way possible, by staying true to herself. In the end, Geddy Lee's respect wasn't earned because Anika sounded exactly like Neil Peart.